us tonight is Republican political analyst Kevin Eckery to talk a little bit more about Trump and his decision to back out of this debate. He's really digging in. I want you to listen to his tweet today. He says it was the childishly written and taunting PR statement by Fox that made me not do the debate, more so than lightweight reporter Megyn Kelly. How unusual is it for a candidate to drop out based on either a network or a moderator?
Well, actually, I don't think he's dropping out because of either one of those.
You don't?
I think he's using it as an excuse, and that for whatever reason, Roger Ailes and Fox, because they were angry and upset, they teed up this perfect excuse. I mean, you know, there's this feud going on with Megyn Kelly, which is a fake feud because he's the only one feuding. But Roger Ailes, who runs Fox News, was very upset with Trump, tweeted out some, or rather wrote some very smart-ass statement and very sarcastic and all this other stuff, which just gave a perfect reason for Trump to say, you know, they're just horribly unfair. I'm not going to do it. And the result is that now he's dominating the news cycle. He won't even be there, and they're only going to talk about him tomorrow. And then at the same time, he's not going to run the risk of ruining his own message. He's not going to, it puts him in perfect control heading into the caucus. It's brilliant.
I know that you're our Republican strategist, and there is no doubt about that you're not a fan of Trump. And saying that, there are people on the other side who think, you know what, he's not being treated fairly in these debates. There's so many debates. Why does he have to do another one?
Well, a good question. And the answer is because, you know, in the past, you know, politics sort of demanded that everybody all the candidates were in it together. And now what's happening is that he plays by his own rules, and this is just the latest remembrance of it, the latest reminder, I guess, that he does write his own rules. He doesn't play by the same rules all the other candidates do, because he's not a traditional politician.
Right, and it's working though. We look at his numbers, and it'll be interesting to see this event tomorrow, because they have announced his special event. It's a fundraiser for veterans organizations. Of course, it's happening tomorrow, right during that GOP debate. Yeah. What is he going to have to do to get eyeballs on his event versus Fox's event?
He's going to have to do very little to get eyeballs on his event, because the fact that he's now set up this as an alternative, and remember, you know, this is Fox News, so the other networks don't have any vested interest in making Fox News look good. So everybody's going to be covering those other events, and you're going to lead with Trump, and then you're going to follow with the debate. He's rewriting not just the rules for running for president, but he's rewriting tomorrow's news cycle.
It'll be interesting too for those who are watching the debate to see how this kind of maybe even opens the door a little bit for Cruz, for some candidates who maybe were kind of struggling with him being the big voice the whole time. Do you think this is going to be a positive for some of the other ones? It
might be, but I think that's what's still going to happen is that people are going to be talking more about Trump not being there than about who showed up. I mean, one of the things that when you're advising a regular politician to do is you tell them if you're going to issue a statement, you don't sit back and answer questions, because some other news could come up which could bury what you wanted to do. You know, we call it stepping on your lead or stepping on your news. Trump has made sure that that's not going to happen, because he's going to remain the news. He doesn't have to worry about, you know, accidentally saying something wrong and getting in trouble and causing a little bit of a little you know, last minute battle. Right. And instead he gets to sort of cruise in. He's doing really well in the polls. He's going to continue to be talked about, and he's not going to say anything wrong tomorrow.
Really?
It's perfect.
We'll see. We'll be watching, I'm sure, both events. Thanks for coming in. We obviously have some big races coming up, the caucuses too. We are sending our team there to Iowa on February 1st. Gulston Dart's going to be heading there with Sharkina Shams to Iowa. We'll have live reports from the first major contest of this presidential campaign. We should also mention that NBC News will anchor all of their newscasts live from Iowa starting on Sunday. And Kevin, I'm sure we'll have you back right after